Welcome to the Inland Sports TV show. I'm Pep Fernandez. That's Jeff Gorham. Huge show, Jeff. We've got high school football wall to wall. We got the champs in the house.
The world champs?
Well,
California champs, for God's sake.
California League champions.
Yes.
Rancho Cucamonga Quakes are in the house as well. We have an exclusive interview with California Baptist volleyball star Tesa Oaks. We're also going to talk a little high school volleyball and also local college football as well. Big thanks to our friends here at TV16 Teen Vision. Johnny Nunez is somewhere on the other side of that wall doing a bunch of this and clicking buttons.
Yeah, he is.
A little joystick. He's doing all kinds of stuff to make this thing happen.
He is making the Death Star fully operational.
And we're ready to fire off on this show.
I'm ready.
We got a lot of high school football. We're going to talk about the matchups, but we like to start off every show with something kind of fun, something kind of different. Today's topic, Jeff, that we're going to start off with is, who is your non-league MVP? Because most high school football teams will be kicking off league play this week. Unless you live in the wacky world of the Mountain Valley League, everyone else is kicking off league play this week. Who's your non-league MVP?
Well, you know, we've talked about prior to going into the season, we said Jaden Daniels is probably going to be the best player in the country. But I'll tell you what, other guys have stepped up just since the season started. You know,
we're always excited about the quarterbacks because we got two of the best anywhere right here in the Inland Empire with Jaden Daniels at Cajon High School and Hank Bachmeyer at Murrieta Valley. But we narrowed down our search for the non-league MVP to a couple guys. And Jeff, ironically, we came up with the same names. They're not quarterbacks here.
They're not. In fact, they're the prima donnas and the running backs. Because we always talk about the wide receivers as being the prima donna guys. There are two on this list that I thought were dominant. We both agreed. First of all, Darren Jones of Cajon High School, the 6'8" wide receiver who's apparently going to the University of Utah in the fall.
Verbally committed to the Utes.
Yes. I mean, but he's unstoppable. He's got 467 yards on the year, averaging 24 yards per catch, and he's got 8 touchdowns.
He is a mismatch nightmare. Johnny boy, go ahead and roll that video. We've got Darren Jones from Cajon High School. We also have, this is a guy I love, and I'm picking guys that I saw with my own eyeballs. Gary Bryant, receiver for Centennial High School. He's not the biggest guy on the field, but he's usually the most explosive. Gary Bryant is a game changer. He's only a junior. He is that good. Centennial is 5-0. They're probably going to run through the Big 8 League. They're probably going to meet Bosco or Mater Dei in the CIF Southern Section D1 semifinals. And Gary Bryant is a huge reason why. Probably the best player on the best team right now. But Darren Jones, if you want to talk about one guy who can just simply take over a game, it's Darren Jones. Because, Jeff, I mean, how tall are you, 6'8"?
I'm 6'8".
He's like 6'8", 6'9", and he plays receiver. It's just simply unfair.
Yeah, I mean, when you have great hands, you've got speed and athletic ability, you can just throw the ball up to him. He's going to go up and get it. Darren Jones is a big-time, I'd say elite, 5-star wide receiver. And you mentioned Gary Bryant. Gary Bryant, in only 3 games, he has 366 yards and 24 yards per catch. That's an incredible stat.
You know, we're living in a time where high school football teams, for the most part, are throwing the football. They spread it out. They throw the football. You know, gone are those ground and pound, years. I know some teams, I'm looking at you, Ken Batdorf, some teams still like to ground and pound it out, but a lot of teams are throwing the football. So we got Darren Jones. We got Gary Bryant from Centennial High School. The other guy that we wanted to mention was
Christian Hunter of Kaiser. And
ground and pound. Right?
Ground and pound. Billy Cardosi's got himself a superstar. He's got over almost 1,000 yards. He's averaging 12 yards per carry, and he has carried Kaiser to a great record here early on.
All right, so those are our 3 finalists for our non-league MVP, Gary Bryant, Darren Jones, and Hunter at Kaiser as well. Now let's talk about the best league title races before we get to the individual matchups. Now we're going into league play for high school football, the best league title races, because there are some leagues, Jeff, and we get used to it, Centennial winning the Big 8 League year after year after year, but there's some other schools, other leagues that we feel like it could be pretty close when it's all said and done here. Let's start with something very close to your heart, The River Valley League.
Well, the River Valley League, remember last year they had a 5-way tie for first place.
I've never seen anything like it.
5 different teams shared the title. This year, starting off in preseason, you have 4 teams that are starting off 4-1. And leading that pack is Norte Vista. Norte Vista, remember last year, was 1-4 going into the playoff, or going into league play. This year, Norte Vista is 4-1. You have Ramona at 4-1, La Sierra 4-1, and Patriot, the biggest surprise, is 4-1 as well.
I interviewed Gary Hedlund, the head football coach for La Sierra, yesterday for Riverside TV, and I said, you know, there was a 5-way tie for first place in the River Valley League last season. There's no way that's going to happen again. And he's like, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be that competitive. It's going to be that close. It's really hard to say, but La Sierra is going to be another team in the mix. Like you mentioned, Norte Vista. Patriots been off to a great start. I mean, again, it's hard to say. Don't count out Ram High.
No, and I'll tell you what, Ram High to me is the biggest surprise. They're athletic. They beat their crosstown rivals, both Poly and Arlington, and they've got a great running back. And he's about this. He's this tall.
Is it Roby?
Brandon Roby. He is this tall, or Dante Roby. I apologize. He is a stud. He's impossible to tackle, but he is only this tall. He's an action figure, and I'll tell you what, he's going to be great in the River Valley League this year.
Speaking of Brandon Osayandi, right, the quarterback for Ram High. So he's another stud.
He's mobile. He can throw, and yet they can almost run a wildcat set with him because he can run the football.
All right, from the RVL to the Mountain Pass League. Now, Citrus Hill has run this league for a long, long time. What's different this season is, well, Jeff Steinberg's at Beaumont High School now. Start with that one. San Jacinto's off to a great start. They're the #1 team in the CIF Southern Section Division 7 rankings. Who am I forgetting? Otakwitz is undefeated right now. So when you look at the Mountain Pass League, Jeff, there's good football this season. I never want to say, oh, man, this might not be the year Citrus Hill wins, but there's other good football teams looming out there in the Mountain Pass.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Coach Zomo, no offense to you, but I think you might get beat this year, and I think it's going to be at the hands of San Jacinto or Beaumont. Hemet's not too bad either. We're talking everybody, with the exception of West Valley, is above 500. But San Jacinto beating Great Oak, Temescal Canyon, Carter, and Mesa in Temecula Valley, those are all quality wins.
Yeah, we joked with Coach Galliano. He was trying to set out and win the Southwestern League this season, beating a bunch of those schools in that area. A couple other leagues to keep an eye on, of course, the San Andreas League. San Gorgonio has won 27 straight league games, 5-time SAL champions. But right now, Jeff, Eisenhower is undefeated. Harupa Hills is 4-1. They just dropped their first game of the season. There's good football in the SAL as well. San Gorgonio is still the team to beat, but I think the gap, kind of like the Mountain Pass, I think the gap is closing a little bit despite some really good players at San G this season, including running back Elijah Hall. And they got several good receivers, Jalen Matthews, David Worry, quarterback Jordan Pichot, so they can score points. I just feel like the rest of the league is like kind of on their heels, like the Mountain Pass with Beaumont and San Jacinto, maybe closing that gap on Citrus Hill as well.
Well, you talk about everybody in the SAL is above 500. They're 23-7 as an entire league, and Arroyo Valley coming out of nowhere is 3-2. Big surprise in the SAL this year.
And let's talk about real quick. I just want to throw the Rain Cross Conference in there because it's brand new. It's a conference which, it's an umbrella over 3 different leagues: the Ivy League, the Sun Belt League, the Inland Valley League. That top tier has Rancho Verde, Heritage, Paloma Valley, and Valley View. So we're going to see those first games this week in this new Rain Cross Conference. And there's some crossover where I know like Notre Dame's playing Paloma Valley.
Yes.
They're technically in 2 separate leagues, but they're in the same conference. It's kind of wacky. We're going to kind of figure it out as we go, but they are in individual leagues here in this conference.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there's 2 teams that are really special. I can't wait for these 2 teams to play. It's Rancho Verde, 5-0. They're always good. They got a young freshman quarterback who's throwing, I think it's the coach's son, Coach Duffy's son.
A.J. Duffy.
But then you have Heritage. Heritage, if you recall, has never lost a game in the Sun Belt League. Ever. Undefeated in 8 straight years. 80-0, is that what it would be? No, I'm sorry.
40-0.
40-0 in league the last 8 years. But Heritage coming off that huge win on Friday night, their momentum is going to carry them, and I think they are going to give Rancho Verde everything they've got.
Let's check out some of those Heritage highlights right now, speaking of the Patriots. So here's what's wacky, Jeff. Again, they're going to play Rancho Verde that final week of the regular season in the Ivy League. They beat Cajon on the road. We're talking about mighty Cajon. Cajon, we had them #2 in our latest rankings, just behind Centennial. But they go out, they beat Cajon in San Bernardino, 41-36. But just the 2 weeks prior to that, they lost to Redlands East Valley 12-6. So I think some people are saying, well, what's going on with Heritage? Are they that good, or is Rev maybe that good? From what I've gathered in the message boards on YouTube, which is kind of a dangerous place to hang out sometimes, Heritage was not at full strength against Rev. I don't know how true that is. Here's what we do know. Rev against Cajon this week is going to be awesome. Heritage is going to be really good as they go into Ivy League play. Those are two really good teams, and that Cajon Heritage game that we're watching right now, if you told me, Jeff, I could go to one game all season long, like just as a fan, go and watch, it was that game right there. It was Heritage against Cajon. I thought that was such a great matchup, and it lived up to its billing. But Heritage, any way you slice it, they're back.
Well, like I've said before, if it ain't Broach, Coach Broach, I'll tell you what, he is one of those coaches that adjusts to the teams he plays. You know, you play a Rev team, you lose 12-6. You might not have had all your guys, but then you go out and you play an offensive juggernaut, and you put up 41 points on a Cajon team that is probably the best in the state.
Special shout out to Ika Tuatala, the running back, stud player for Heritage High School. Heritage gets Elsinore this week in that Rain Cross Conference, and Cajon will open up Citrus Belt League play against Redlands East Valley. That will probably determine the Citrus Belt League champion, and it's only week 6. There's a little bit of video of Heritage and Rev from a couple weeks ago at Redlands High School. But yeah, I mean, here we are, week 6. It's still September, but the CBL title might be decided as Rev and Cajon play this week. And Heritage, again, they open up with Elsinore. We had a chance to talk to Coach Broach after that big win against Cajon High School. Let's go to that. Here is Coach Broach.
All right, Coach Broach, that's probably the craziest game of the season so far. How'd you guys pull it out?
Carlos Ruelas right there and other seniors. I mean, Carlos, a senior moment right there. They threw it deep and he came over and made a play. That was a special time. And then we'll talk about our seniors like Ika Tuatala, who just at times put the team on his back. Trey Goodlow, our quarterback. That was a lot of fun tonight.
Cool.
So that's 40 straight league wins in the Sun Belt League. And we had asked Coach Broach before, does it still count now you're in a new league, that league winning streak? And I think it does, right?
Of course it does.
Stop.
Of course it does. When you go 8 straight years without a loss, you got to continue that streak. And the league is going to be a lot different this year. It's going to be a lot better for him. But you know, he's one of those coaches, a lot like Coach Lunsford over at Redlands East Valley, that they can adjust to really any kind of talent they have. They can run the spread. They can run ground and pound. They are coaches that can adjust offensively and defensively according to their guys.
And what was the joke with Heritage? They said that they were so good in the Sun Belt League, they had to create just a whole new league for them to go into. Yeah. Now they're in the Ivy League. Heritage looks really good. Again, they got Elsinore coming up on Friday. A couple of the matchups we just touched on as we were going down the different leagues. San Jacinto's playing Beaumont this week. That's a big matchup. That'll have playoff positioning implications here in week 6 in the Mountain Pass League. And Notre Dame taking on Paloma Valley. Notre Dame now out of the Ambassador League, now in the Sun Belt League, taking on Paloma Valley, who's technically an Ivy League team, but it's one of those crossover games in the Rain Cross Conference. That should be a good one, Notre Dame and Paloma Valley. Let's go to some of those Norta Vista highlights, Jeff, because we're going back to the River Valley League. There's some really good games brewing this Friday in the River Valley League, including Norta Vista.
I'll tell you what, there's that young freshman running back, the brother of the University of Hawaii running back, Freddie Holly. That's Eddie Elaine.
The Elaine train.
He's a freshman. He had over 200 yards, and they're without their best running back in Malesio. Malesio was a 2,500-yard rusher last year. They get him back this week versus Hillcrest.
So Novi against Hillcrest, Patriot against Ramona. We also have La Sierra against Jurupa Valley. That's the Riverside TV game. The River Valley League, again, like a lot of these other leagues we were talking about, the San Andreas, the Mountain Pass, even these early league games, it's only week 6, but they're going to have big-time implications as we go forward. Again, Novi Hillcrest, that could be a league title game right there.
Well, Norta Vista, in order to win this River Valley League outright, they have bookended games at the start of the season and at the end of the season. They open with Hillcrest and they finish with Ramona. That could be it. You've got to win those 2 big games. But you watch Norta Vista this year. They've talked about offense for the last 20 years. Their defense is what they're going to hang their hat on this season. Coach Andy Martinez has really got that secondary going. They're athletic and they're big up front, and they blitz on every single down.
Right, a couple other matchups. Murrieta Valley versus Chaparral in the Southwestern League. Murrieta Valley your two-time Southwestern League champion. But Chaparral right now, Jeff, 5-0 in non-league play. They're ranked in their CIF playoff division. I believe it's Division 4. That's a pretty good matchup, I guess, on paper going into Southwestern League play.
Anytime you have to play against Hank Bachmeyer. Hank Bachmeyer is in the top 5 all-time in the Southern section in passing. He and Jaden Daniels are 1 and 2 this year, but they're in the top 5 all-time in the Southern section. Anytime you play against him, you have a shot to win.
And finally, in the land of the Big Eights, it's our radio game of the week. You can punch up that graphic right now because it's Santiago taking on Centennial. It's a Thursday night special. We will have it live on the Inland Sports Channel. Cullen Holt, Tim Hatch. You might even have Pep Fernandez on the sidelines. But Centennial against Santiago, it's always a rivalry. It's the Rumble on Rimpaw. It's a big, big game. But again, Centennial, they're probably, what, number 10 in the nation, number 2 or 3 in the state. Centennial's a tough mountain to climb.
Yeah, anytime you play Centennial, and by the end of the season, we could be talking that Centennial could be a national champion.
Yeah.
Just depends on how they do in the playoffs. They've got to get through the Big Eight. The Big Eight's tough, though. You got Norco, Santiago, Roosevelt. Those teams are so tough.
And finally, our Inland Sports Grade 8 and 4 more high school football rankings. We do them every single week, and we unveil them right here on the show. If you follow the CIF Southern Section rankings, it's kind of on par with what they're doing right now. And again, the good part is we're going to have some real juicy matchups coming up because these teams are going to go head-to-head, Jeff. There's going to be some separation here. But Centennial is number 1. No one's going to argue against that. But after that, like 2 and beyond, Jeff, you can make a case for a lot of these schools to be higher. Rancho Verde, we have them at number 2 at 5-0, followed by Norco, only because in the CIF rankings, Rancho Verde's number 1 in Division 2, Norco is number 2, Heritage is back. I think they're like number 6 in the Division 2 rankings. Cajon fell to number 2 in Division 3. You can make a case, Jeff, for any of these schools to be number 2, number 3, like a little bit higher, but Centennial's 1, and then after that it gets a little muddled like we talk about.
It does get a little muddled, but there will be some separation. I'll tell you what, though, I think Norco on the horizon could be the only team, and I have to say it's the only team that could upset Centennial this year in the Big 8.
How dare you?
That would be terrible. But I say, just because they're the evil empire there, the Centennial has been so good for so long, but Norco has such great offensive weapons this season.
Norco is very, very good. Norco will make a run at the CIF Division II championship, I have no doubt. But when you look at Centennial, I think they're going to be 12-0 going into that matchup with Mater Dei or Bosco come the end of November. I got a feeling. And I'm not exactly going way out on a limb saying, oh, Centennial's going to win. They're pretty good. No, that's not exactly going way out there. When we come back, listen, I've never won a trophy. You might have won 1 or 2 back in your day.
A couple.
We got a big trophy in the house.
I know. I carried it in, and it weighed. It was like Lord Stanley Cup. I'm telling you, I want to take it to school with me. I want to walk around campus. I want to tell everybody I'm a champion, but I'm not.
Do you have to handle it with gloves though? Like, is there certain protocol when handling a championship trophy like the Cal League one?
No, the Cal League, they brought in. There was a security guard that was walking behind Lindskog the entire time coming in. So I made sure that I didn't drop it and I didn't get any smudges on it. So we're looking good.
When we come back on your favorite show, the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes are in the house. We're going to celebrate their California League championship right here on the Inland Sports TV show. We'll be right back.
Inland Sports.
This is Kenny Clark from the Green Bay Packers, and you're watching the Inland Sports Show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
I played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I think that's my passion because I've done it. You know, I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. What sets us apart has to be, you know, how we work with our athletes and what we know. We can take an athlete and you know, help them reach their athletic potential, you know, help them, you know, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then, you know, really what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, you know, in terms of speed, power, you know, strength, agility.
Focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
Well, we've got a double dip in the hot seat today on the Inland Sports TV show because we got the Quakes in the house, we got the two broadcasters, and dear friends of ours as well, Andrew Chapman and Mike Lindskog as well.
But we have this. Look at this thing.
Yeah, this is the real reason we asked him to come on the show, so we could see this thing.
You can't even get the top of the trophy. Look at it.
It's way out.
Look at that. There's our guys. Lindskog and Chapman. Love them.
Lindskog, Chapman. Man, we love these guys. They have been the voice of Quakes baseball all summer long and also California League champions. First off, congrats, guys.
Thanks. Thank you.
Do you get a ring, or should I even ask? Because you have a huge ring here, Mike.
Yeah.
Is that old?
It hasn't been mass-produced just yet. This is the 2015 version of the championship ring, but I thought I would be missing the boat if I didn't bring it here and let you, rub on.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, I've never won a title.
Yeah, we'll be designing rings here in the very short future, and second time in 4 years we've gotten to go ring shopping, if you will.
So does Andrew get a ring too?
I'm just hoping I get some sort of a plaque, maybe one of those $3
ribbon
rings.
No, I was thinking, you put the quarter in. And you turn a little knob, and it comes out, and you have a little plastic Quakes.
I'll take one of those.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, you guys have got some good sponsors to this show. Let's get them a gift card for a free meal. It'll be fine.
Something over here just to keep them happy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you guys win the California League Championship. You basically roll to the title. And I know a lot of, all the teams in the California League, it's turnover, right? I mean, there's a revolving door of guys getting called up. The Manny Machado trade involved the Quakes a little bit as well. But they were able to find a way to keep it together. I mean, from your guys, because nobody saw more Quakes baseball than you guys, I mean, what do you think the key was this year to get Rancho Cucamonga to that championship?
Well, I mean, I know Andrew can comment on this as well, but with the inconsistency of the roster, I mean, as you alluded to, we had so much turnover. We had the league MVP, and he was traded to the Baltimore Orioles as part of the Manny Machado trade. So to lose that kind of production, it's really, truly a team effort this year. It came from all sides. We lost so many starting pitchers that went up to the next level, and yet we were able to rebound, and it was truly a next man up kind of an effort, which has kind of become a cliche phrase around these times, but it's incredible the way they all stepped up.
Well, you guys had 4 All-Stars, but by the end of the season, you were down to one of those guys.
Yeah.
Everybody seemed to get shipped off, but you guys, your second half, you start off the first half 30-30, and then you guys just went on a terror. What do you account that for? What was it? Was it management? Was it the front office? Was it just the guys?
Was it the broadcasters?
Oh,
I mean, what was it? Really?
There might have been some broadcaster mojo going on throughout the year that helped the play down on the field. But I think it was a tremendous coaching staff, guys who were all young, fairly earlier in their coaching careers, and they were all what you'd consider player coaches, guys that the players could relate to really well in the locker room. And I think that good mojo in the locker room transitioned onto the field every day. And, when you put together a 15-game winning streak or things like that, which the Quakes did in the second half, it's going to propel you to those big numbers come the end of the year. And, well, they just kept racking up, accolade after accolade, history mark after history mark, and nothing guaranteed once you hit the playoffs. But, the Quakes lost the first game of that South Division final to the Lancaster Jethawks, and then they just rebounded ever since. And it was a different guy every day, pretty much, it seemed like, that was delivering the big hit or something like that.
It really was. And one thing that we've talked about all year long was the fact that we've just been so talented this year. At the beginning of the season, we had, X amount of prospects, and prospects doesn't always mean wins. Yeah. This year, it took them a while, as Geoff alluded to, 35-35 in the first half, just a 500 record, but 52-18 the rest of the way, which is just incredible. And we were just easily the most talented club in the league, and even with our losses, players going up to the next level, AA Tulsa in this case, we were able to just keep plugging away, and it was just a real credit to the Dodgers minor league system as a whole.
Man, best players, you had the best manager, the best broadcasters. Like, it was
well, there was no award for best broadcaster, but we appreciate your recognition.
Yeah, just the whole season came together like that. You're a proud affiliate of the LA Dodgers. Mike, I see the pin on your jacket right now. Did you guys just re-up with them not too long ago?
We do. So our relationship with the Dodgers started in 2011, and of course it will continue into 2019. It's a 2-year commitment that we sign traditionally every other year, and so it keeps us locked into that affiliation for another 2 years, which will take us through the 2020 season. I know everybody always asks, oh, geez, how come only 2 years? But again, that's just kind of the way it works. Yeah. And again, the relationship between the Dodgers and the Quakes, that partnership, so very strong. It's a long-term thing for sure. So for fans that are like, oh, so is 2020 your final year?
Yeah.
By no means, not at all. So it's been a great relationship, obviously.
And Andrew, you're getting some love from the Dodgers, right? Trickling down to the California League champions. I think it was on Twitter or some of the broadcasters as well, recognizing the Quakes, right, for winning the title.
Oh, yeah. The fan response, not only within the city of Rancho Cucamonga, but throughout Southern California, was just tremendous going into the postseason. On the social media end, we had, the Dodger Twitter account, which has something over like 2 million followers, wishing us good luck in the championship series. And the reality is that sometimes in minor league sports, postseason games can, be difficult to sell just because you have such a short amount of time to bring folks in. But the second the Quakes made the postseason and we were getting some love from the fellow Twitter accounts, we saw a massive fan response on that Friday night when we won the championship at home, something over 2,500 fans in attendance, and they were hanging on every pitch. It was one of the best atmospheres we've experienced all year, and it was so cool to get that fan response this season, and of course, being right near down the street to Chavez Ravine, it's going to help you a lot when it comes to Dodger fans in the area wanting to come check out the minor league team and see those future Dodgers on the field.
Now, Mike, you wore a tuxedo for the championship.
Did you? I did. So it's kind of a little tradition that we have. So on opening night, we'll do, starters called out to the lines and what have you. Very MLB opening day feel, kind of all-star game-esque. And then we also run that back if we're able to make the championship series. So this is the third time in my tenure of 9 years now that we've made the championship series. And so we do the first game of the championship series at home. This one so happened to be the clincher because we obviously swept that 3-game series.
And this doesn't happen very often, right?
I was in a tuxedo, and then underneath the tuxedo.
There you go.
Underneath the tuxedo, well, I don't know where you're going here.
I know exactly.
Underneath the tuxedo, I had a shirt on similar to this. It was white, but it had 2000
2018 Cal League champs, and I had it on underneath before we'd actually
ready to go.
Just in case, it was like, my lucky socks or whatever.
Yeah.
I had on a 2018.
So how quickly did the tuxedo come off? Like final pitch? How quickly that?
No, I had some post-game responsibilities. Go down to the field and interview our manager, Drew Saylor, down there on the field. But as soon as it was time to really get after it, I lost the tuxedo, and it was champagne time all over my championship T-shirt.
So were you both in the locker room getting? Was it like you see in the World Series?
It absolutely
like
was.
Everything's like the lockers are tarped up, right, with the plastic, and everyone's got goggles on, and
they've evolved really, which I think is pretty cool. So back in the day, it used to be tarp,
like garbage
plastic,
bags,
for sure. Everybody's got scuba gear on, like Scuba Steve and with the goggles on and what have you. But they've actually migrated now to the showers, so they have a little respect for the clubhouse and all their stuff. I mean, there's too many electronics, frankly, to just
you ruined my
champagne.
iPhone.
Exactly. Well, that's a $700 bill, no big deal.
Yeah.
So they kind of migrate to the showers and they get after it there, and so it's a champagne party in the shower. I mean, who hasn't
done that,
participated
right?
in one of those?
You always hear that cliche phrase, the smell of victory, and I finally learned what that was this year from all the potent champagne in one location. That's the smell of victory.
Two trips through the wash machine
just to get it out. Yeah. Just to get it out.
Now the turnover rate, obviously it's big with minor league baseball, but like you said, you have the all-time winningest manager in Quakes history. What's next for him? Will he get promoted because he's done so well?
Well, unlike the players, each minor league coach, manager, and what have you, the athletic trainer, the strength guy, they're really traditionally on year-to-year contracts, maybe even perhaps a 2-year agreement. So all those guys will be up for renewal, if you will, on their own personal contracts. And certainly it's not out of the ordinary to see guys move on, different organizations, jumping around, perhaps a promotion to the next level, AA or what have you. So the off-season is a busy time for all of those guys. So certainly time will tell for all of our guys as far as where they're going to end up in 2019.
Finally, guys, you brought the trophy, and we very much do appreciate it. Where does it live? Does it live at Lone Mart Field? Is it in your bedroom? Is Andrew holding on to it? Like, where is
Andrew doesn't have a girlfriend or a roommate, so this is the closest thing to it.
I feel like I deserve at least 24 hours, to sulk and all.
But is it like the Stanley Cup? Do the players or the managers, the front office staff, do you guys share it, pass it around?
I mean, frankly, I think we're too irresponsible to treat it with the care it deserves. So the fact that we were able to muscle it out here and give it to the big fella so he could walk it up is a really tall order. But yeah, it'll reside at Lone Mart Field on the second floor. So for fans that are coming to visit during the off season, buying season tickets, what have you, that's where that championship trophy will reside. But before we get out of here, you know that I didn't just come to represent the gear myself here. I have a XX for you. Oh no, wait, that's for that guy. I got some championship T-shirts here commemorating our 2018 season for you turkeys.
Here, which one's XX here?
It's the bigger one.
Look at that. Let's hold that up so we get a good shot of that. Look at that. California League champions again, 2018. The Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. Andrew Chapman, Mike Lindskog in the house. Guys, we always love seeing you. We appreciate it. Andrew,
you bet.
You guys are the best.
That's my favorite guys, my favorite broadcasters.
Johnny said we need to decorate this corner of the studio. I mean, we could always just leave this here. It would be perfectly fine.
Does the lid come off there? I don't know if there's still champagne.
We'll just drink out of it. It's like that. It'd be awesome.
The Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, guys, we appreciate it. Make sure you follow the Twitter at RC Quakes, and of course, Mike Lindskog and Andrew Chapman behind that, and staying very active in the offseason here with all the stuff going on. Not only with the Dodgers, too, because, the Dodgers, again, in the offseason, if they make moves, it kind of trickles down to Rancho Cucamonga as well, right?
Yeah, and we're big fans now. I mean, that's all we are now is fans. So we're following them.
This is it, right?
Yeah, down to the last 5-6 days of the season. They got a 1.5 lead on Colorado. Yeah. We got our fingers crossed for multiple
good. Yeah, it looks good if they can hang on. And maybe even home field advantage in that first game.
I think they should be promoted. You guys should be the next Dodgers.
I'm waiting for my call-up to the broadcast.
Darn right.
Joe Davis who, right? Like,
Dave, come on.
Right up there.
See, you guys are as good as, I shouldn't say it. It would be sacrilege.
Don't say Vince Scully.
Yeah, I will.
It's okay.
Yeah, they're okay. But you guys are better. I love you guys.
Mike and Andrew here from the Quakes. We appreciate it when we come back on the Inland Sports TV show. Local volleyball, Jeff. We'll talk about Santiago in our exclusive interview with CBU volleyball star Tesa Oaks when we come back.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We're small, family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cajalco, off El Cerrito, and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the Crossings. We have great financing, we have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car. Whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
Great night. You know, it's our first rep in the event center.
Yeah, we have beauty mark on her forehead. A couple of subtle differences. Madison's face.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show. Kind of sad to see the trophy go.
I was going to take it with me. I was going to go give it to my kids and tell them that they got a trophy for being the best sons in the world. Now I'm going to come home empty-handed.
I am so proud of you guys. Look what I got you, because you're the best.
Now I'm just going to have to get them Happy Meals on the way home. Yeah. That's about it. No trophy for my kids.
You can still maybe pick them up a Quakes championship shirt.
That's pretty sweet.
I'm sure if you visit the Quakes website, there might be more for you out there.
Well,
Help celebrate.
I will say this. I took the family down to a Quakes game earlier this year, and Andrew Chapman and Mike Lindskog gave my kids all baseball hats. So they wear the hats everywhere. They wear them everywhere.
They're Quakes fans.
They're Quakes fans. They get out of the bathtub, and you see these little naked kids running around wearing their Quakes hats. My 5-year-old, my 2-year-old, my 12-year-old, he just sits in his room, and he's melancholy. You know, he's a 12-year-old.
Oh,
so
yeah,
that's what happens.
sure.
But he still wears his Quakes.
But he loves the Quakes.
Yes,
that's all that matters in the end. So big Cal League championship. Big thanks to the Quakes for stopping in studio. Andrew Chapman and Mike Lindskog, the voice of the Quakes all season long. In fact, I don't know how many years. Lindskog's been there for a long, long time. Is it like a dozen years?
He's been with them for at least a dozen years. But remember, he was part of the George and Ken Brett, the Brett brothers.
Yeah.
They brought the Quakes really to Rancho Cucamonga.
Well, because they own several teams, and I know Mike's kind of bounced around a little bit around minor league baseball, but he ended up here. He loved it, like we all do. Loved the Inland Empire. He got married, started a family, and boom, Cal League champion. So that's how you do it.
Yes.
All right, we're talking volleyball. Before we get to Tesa Oaks, California Baptist Star, we're talking a little high school volleyball. One of the top teams year in and year out, Jeff, like the sun rising in the east, you can just count on it. It's Santiago, and they play in arguably the toughest league right now, Big 8 League, and I'd probably throw the Southwestern League and the CBL, the Citrus Belt League, in there in terms of just really good high school volleyball in the Inland Empire. The Ambassador League, too.
Yes.
Those private schools can play volleyball. But Santiago is coming off a huge game against King. Not only was it for first place, but they extended their super long winning streak. We got Cullen Holt standing by with more on the Santiago volleyball team. Cullen?
Well, when it comes to winning streaks, Santiago's 72 straight wins in the Big 8 League are about as impressive as it gets. And they had a real tough test against the King Wolves the other day, a 3-2 win for them. But they keep the streak alive, and we caught up with the Sharks after that game to talk about the team's resilience and trying to make another run in Division I.
Inland Sports.
Dropping the first 2 sets was like kind of nerve-wracking, but we came together. We really kept our energy up this game, and that's what really like strengthened us and stuff. So keeping that energy and momentum was what really helped us going. And we got in a group huddle and we talked about it, and we're like, we're so good. We're an amazing team, and if we work hard and have energy, we have this game. We completely have this match. So
this team is very, very resilient. We've had some ups and downs in terms of confidence and some consistencies and everything, but what they were able to do here, they never doubted themselves, came into this match thinking we were going to win this, and that's what they did. So that was awesome. So proud of them.
It's a big match, obviously, for first place, but also the league winning streak, right? I mean, we've got to talk about it. Everyone's talking about it, right? So,
right.
I mean, do you think about that in the back of your mind, like during the match, or are you not too worried about the
You know, that it's definitely in their minds. They don't want to be on the court when that happens and everything, but it's also, let's take care of business. We got to worry about this season and not all the past seasons and stuff. So that's awesome we could do it, but it is always about 2018 and what we can do and stuff. So it's in the back of their minds, but what we always want to focus on is here and now and what we can do in that match, in that moment.
Inland Sports.
Well, the Sharks are on top in Big 8 League volleyball. They kept the streak alive, and last year's trip to the second round of Division I, well, they'll look to repeat that this year once again. Pep and Geoff, back to you.
All right, good stuff, Cullen. That's good volleyball, King and Santiago. Not only, Jeff, are they rivals, but that's a very high level of high school volleyball.
No, you go to those games, and I'll tell you what, they're athletic. You can tell they've been playing since they were this big. I mean, they're incredible players. But like you said, a tough league. That Big 8 League is incredible to go watch. So anybody who wants to go watch good volleyball, go down the street and watch these games.
Yeah, and we mentioned the Citrus Belt League too. Right now, Redlands East Valley is in first place. Rev having a real bounce-back season. Wildcats are in first place, but only one game back is Yucaipa and Citrus Valley. And Jeff, if we get out of here in time, I'm actually going to go check out the end of Yucaipa and Citrus Valley volleyball tonight. But we had a chance to catch up with Yucaipa head coach Amber Von Canale after their big win against Cajon, and her star player as well, Julianne Leclerc, talking about the CBL and what's it going to take to maybe chase down Rev. So here's Yucaipa.
Yeah, I think, we've got a lot of teams that are evenly matched this year. It's not like we have one dominant team. Obviously we have to look out for CV next, so that's going to be a good competition. But every match we go into the CBL this year, we have to prepare. I liked how we came back after losing the second set, just bringing that energy that's really kind of our style of volleyball that we really didn't bring early in the match. So it was good to see that relentless pursuit on defense. We just want to continue to work on execution with our offense. When our ball control's there, we can be explosive, but sometimes we just need to pick up that little bit of oomph and staying relentless on the service line.
It felt pretty good. I feel like the last 2 games we came out with a lot of fire, a lot of discipline. We just came out with a bang and we didn't let anything hit the ground without a body. I thought that was really good for us.
Yucaipa was a perfect 14-0 in the CBL, and right now, again, a game back of Redlands East Valley. That game was live on IEMG, so make sure you check out the IE Media Group YouTube channel. Lots of good local sports content from out of San Bernardino County. Jeff, this is a good reminder right now that nobody covers high school volleyball like us because we've got Daryl Trujillo. Nobody knows volleyball like Daryl, and he's all over the place.
Daryl is the senior writer of volleyball and all things on the Inland Sports website. He's everywhere. So if you go to any high school gym, probably in the state of California, you're going to run into Daryl Trujillo. He is the man.
If you see Daryl, shake his hand, tell him thank you. Not only does he cover games, but he also has a top 10. So we rank the top teams in the Inland Empire. I can guarantee you right now, you're going to find some Big 8, Southwestern, Ambassador League, CBL volleyball sprinkled throughout Daryl's coverage and the top 10 as well. All right, now let's go to California Baptist University volleyball. One of their star players is Tesa Oaks out of Woodcrest Christian High School, now a big star at CBU. She has helped California Baptist, Jeff, get off to this crazy good start. In fact, they beat Mississippi State, and that's an SEC school.
I saw that, but you said the last name is Oaks. Any relation to Trevor Oaks?
It's funny because we had the Quakes guys in here.
Yeah.
Trevor Oaks came up through the Dodgers system. He pitched for Rancho Cucamonga, the Quakes. Now he's with the Kansas City Royals, but he was with the Dodgers. Yes, Trevor Oaks is the older brother of Tesa Oaks, and Trevor actually pitched at CBU as well.
That's right.
So it's time to go inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling with Tesa Oaks.
And we are going inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. We got California Baptist University volleyball star Tesa Oaks, obviously a star out of Woodcrest Christian High School, coming down the street here to play for CBU. Tesa, now as a sophomore, you guys are playing a Division I schedule. It all started at Mississippi State. You guys went 4-0. Now, coming off that tournament, were you surprised, the team surprised, to that great start and beating Mississippi State at that tournament?
Oh, yeah, it was awesome for sure. I mean, we expected to play some really good teams, and we definitely did, but we were ready. We were super pumped. We came out with fire and just played our hearts out, and it was awesome, yeah.
Did it change anything in terms of maybe just the mentality of the team? Like, wow, you know what? We can hang at D1. We're actually not too bad. We're pretty good
Yeah,
here.
for sure. I mean, that was kind of a wake-up call. Like, oh my gosh, we can win and we can play and we can play good teams and fight hard no matter what and just figure it out and do our best. So that's what we did.
Now, you know, we're here at a practice. Is it just kind of business as usual? I mean, the practice is the same compared from, you know, the D2 to D1. Does it feel like the same? It's just maybe a different level of competition, like the caliber you're going up against?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we haven't changed much. Still the same school, just different people and a little different mentality. We're all ready to compete and fight hard no matter what, so just kind of keep things chill and do the same thing.
Now, your brother Trevor, obviously a professional baseball player, and he made his way through CBU eventually.
Oh, yeah.
when you chose California Baptist, did he have any influence? Did he recommend it? I mean, how did you end up here?
A little bit, not too much. I mean, it definitely helped having him here. He kind of encouraged me that it's not bad to stay local. So it definitely helped, but I for sure made the decision for myself, and I'm glad I did, so it was good.
Are you ultra competitive?
I am, but I don't show it too much, but definitely on the inside I am.
Do you think you get that from your mom or your dad? I mean, is your brother super competitive as well? Like, where do you think that comes from?
I think my dad. I mean, Trevor and I are pretty similar. I think we're both kind of internally competitive. We don't show it too much, but we're pretty focused. So I think that comes from my dad for sure.
Now, going back to your freshman season, I mean, you did play, you know, but there was some great seniors on the team. You know, the great leaders. Now you have a chance coming back as as a sophomore here, and you're going to be one of the players that Coach Higa is going to look to, you know, score some points, be a leader, whatnot. Do you see your role a little bit differently as compared to a freshman year, maybe where you're just walking in and trying to get used to college volleyball, and now you're established, you're here, and you're ready to maybe take a larger role on the team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, last year I had to be ready to go if they needed me or when they needed me, and now it's like I got to be ready all the time. So it's a little bit different mentality, but it's awesome. I mean, I love it. I love the girls, so they make it easy to just step up, and everyone kind of steps up together, so it's a good mix of competition.
Now, you were a stud at Woodcrest Christian High School. I'd assume you're more comfortable in that role of being like the go-to player, right? You want a chance to score some crucial points if the match is tied late. I mean, you want a chance to maybe put it away, right?
Yeah, it definitely feels like that again, which is awesome. But yeah, kind of feels like high school, just on a whole nother level, so it's good.
Now, this is not a slight, obviously, to the Division II schools that you played last year, but can you talk about just the caliber of competition that you guys at CBU you've seen so far this year on the volleyball court? Because you've played some really good teams. You've beaten some really good teams.
Yeah.
It's a high level of volleyball.
Yeah, it is. I'd say everything is just like a step up. The girls are a lot taller. The speed of the game is faster, which is awesome. So everything's just kind of one level up. But I think we've done a good job in practice preparing for that, and we'll keep doing that.
Does practices feel the same? We kind of touched on it, but
yeah,
it's D1, but really when you get down to the nuts and bolts, it's still volleyball, right? The practices feel the same. It's just maybe you're playing a Texas El Paso as compared to maybe a Chico State or something like that, right? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, the teams are different, so we definitely have to prepare for bigger block, faster game, but practices are pretty much the same. We all just come to compete, and it's volleyball, so it's good.
Do you feel like California Baptist is able to make a name for itself early on in the season? Because again, going back to the Mississippi State tournament and going 4-0 there, and you've beaten some other good teams along the way, do you think some people are thinking, well, okay, CBU, they're legit. It's going to be tough to go to Riverside and battle CBU inside Van Dyke.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I hope so. I think we have had a really good reaction from all of our fans here. I mean, they're pumped for us, and that gets us really excited and ready to play. So, I mean, I hope so.
Now, you've obviously, not postseason eligible, but you guys could still finish in first place in the WAC during the regular season. Is that kind of the team goal at this point? Is that you just finish on top at the end?
Yeah, for sure. I think after all these preseason tournaments, we know like we can do this and we're ready to fight. Even though we can't compete in that postseason tournament, like we're ready and we're ready to go and fight.
All right, that's Tesa Oaks as we went inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. Thank you, Tessa. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
we'll see you on the home floor soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, that was Tesa Oaks from California Baptist University as we went inside the Lancers, presented by Magnolia Heating and Cooling. Jeff, when we come back, we're going to talk local college football and Kawhi Leonard laughing.
What? He doesn't laugh. Get out of here.
I think he laughed for the very first time, and we have video of it. We'll be back at your favorite show, the Inland Sports TV show.
Hello, everybody. This is Mike Maynard, the head football coach at the University of Redlands, and you're watching the Inland Sports Show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
This is Centennial High School football coach Matt Logan. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show, talking local college football. The University of Redlands coming off the bye week. They've got Pomona Pitzer to kick off SCIAC play this coming Saturday. Jeff, you missed the San Bernardino Valley College football game. You missed it.
No.
Yeah,
I did not miss it.
Did you watch it live on IEMG?
I did watch it live on IEMG, so I didn't miss it.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what, it was like watching a basketball game. There was a whole lot of scoring.
Well, let's roll some of the highlights from the SBVC football game, courtesy of our good friends at IEMG TV. Okay, so here's the deal. We're going to go deep into the numbers here. It was 72-0. SBVC won the game, of course, because they're very, very good. 72 points is the modern record for the Wolverines. And I say modern record, Jeff, because if you go back to 1930, SBVC beat the Indio Fire Department by a score of 116-0. And that's real. That's a real live record, and I have that confirmed.
You can't count that. I'm telling you.
You do.
When you play the Indio Fire Department, that's like you and I and about 6 other guys, if we were firemen, playing against college football. You got to throw that out the door. When I was in college, I played at RCC for a year. I scored 60-plus points in a college game. I was all excited, but it was against who? It was against like Miramar Air Force Base. So when the game was over, it was a college game. They said, hey, you just scored 60-plus points, but it doesn't count because it was against an Air Force base. So I'm going to put an asterisk next to this, and I'm going to give the modern record to that the game, overall record 72-0. Man, I'll tell you what. How many yards did Armando Herrera have?
Well, let's put it this way. He was 8th on the all-time passing list at Valley College. To start the game, he was 8th. By the end of the game, he was number 4 all-time.
Come on.
He went catapulted up.
So he threw for 7 touchdowns, is that right?
7 touchdowns, which is a new school record.
I hope so.
415 yards through the air.
Oh, my God.
31 first downs, which is a new school record. So you see the theme here. It was a huge game for Valley College.
It was against LA Southwest?
Against Los Angeles Southwest.
Yeah, we're going to have to put an asterisk next to that one, too. No. Come on, San Bernardino Valley. Who do they play next?
Pasadena City.
I hope they give them a game.
All right. And one other quick shout out before we get to Kawhi Leonard laughing. UC Riverside won the first crosstown showdown with Cal Baptist University. 2-1 in overtime. Men's soccer. The Highlanders with a goal in overtime. It was a penalty kick. I'm a soccer guy. I hate seeing games being decided on penalty kicks. That's just me. I played soccer for a long, long time. I don't like it to come on penalty kicks. I like it like Stanley Cup playoff hockey, Jeff, where you have to have a goal. Like you play all night long to have a real goal. That's what I want. But nevertheless, congratulations to UC Riverside beating CBU in the crosstown showdown in men's soccer 2-1 this past Saturday night. And finally, I only bring this up because it was trending on Twitter yesterday. I know LeBron James was introduced by the Lakers at Media Day, and that was big news. But this was bigger news. Kawhi Leonard talking to the media for the very first time at Toronto Raptors Media Day. He never smiles. He never talks. He never laughs, for that matter.
No.
But he laughed for the first time. Johnny, I think you have the video. Go ahead and play it. We might even play it a couple times. Can you do it again, Johnny? Let's do it again. It's real short.
That's not real.
That's his laugh, Jeff.
No,
That's his real laugh.
No. Is that the first time?
He's still playing it.
Is that the first time Kawhi Leonard has ever even tried to laugh in his life? Is that going on?
Yeah, that's right. Play it again. I like it.
Oh, Kawhi.
I don't know if it's a fake laugh or if the first time he's ever laughed in his life.
I think he might be animatronic. I mean, we haven't heard a lot from him for the last year. It could just be a hologram. That's just weird right there.
So anyways, we love
guy.
Kawhi Leonard. He's the pride of King High School right here in the Riv. Hashtag the Riv raised me. But yeah, he doesn't talk a lot. He certainly doesn't smile or laugh a lot. And maybe we now know why. I mean, it's kind of an awkward laugh, but we love you anyways, Kawhi. So please don't. Just stop. Big thanks to our friends here at Teen Vision TV 16, always doing a great job with our show. We do appreciate it. Next week, more high school footballs will be officially into league play. For Jeff Gorham, for Cullen Hull as well, I'm Pep Fernandez. We'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports TV Show.